So welcome to the biology of the great white shark. In this series that I'm starting with general biology. I think we need to give you the basis of what a great white shark is from a biological point of view. And then from there we'll move into complex white shark behavior because it's all very connected. So, the great white shark is part of the lamniform family or mackerel shark family, which generally boils down to their shape. We call them mackerel sharks. You get mako sharks, are also part of the family, bald beagle sharks are part of the family, and there's several other animals. But I'm going to tell you what a great white shark is. And here's a model of which would obviously be a young great white shark, but let's just assume that it's a big great white shark. So the white shark, the way to identify it is it's a heavy-bodied, spindle-shaped animal. And what I mean by that is it's got a nice round shape to it. Now many shark species, they could be 4 meters long, but they're a lot thinner or narrower than a great white shark. Where a 4-meter great white shark is this heavy, big beast. And that's where it comes to the spindle-shaped body. So we start from this side of the great white shark. They've got a very conical, bullet-shaped snout. Many shark species, most shark species, have got more of a blunt snout. So that's how you identify great white sharks. So they've got this bullet-shaped, conical snout. They've got conspicuous, what appear to be black eyes. Where in most other shark species, you can quite easily see the pupil and the white of the eye. And the great white shark, it appears, it's not completely black. It's got a pupil, but it appears to be a conspicuous black eye. The eye rests directly above the jaws, and we'll talk about that later. I'm not going to talk about that at the moment. But as you move along the animal, you'll see it's got 5 large gill slits. Some species of shark got 6 gill slits, some species of shark got 7 gill slits. Great white sharks got 5 gill slits, and they're very large. And they're of the largest gill slit area out of all shark species. So most shark species, the gills would be a lot smaller, where the great white shark has got these big gill slits. They've got prominent pectoral fins. These are the pectoral fins. And they're big, they're large, they almost look like aeroplane wings. Then their second pelvic fin over here is also prominent. And the female great white sharks, they have pelvic fins. The male great white shark has pelvic fins and claspers, and we're going to be talking about that in reproduction later on as we go. The dorsal area of a great white shark is dark, and it can vary from black to bluish to grey to even bronze or copper in color. And they have the ability to actually change the color of the dorsal area depending on the situation, depending on if they're hunting in dark water or if they're hunting in lighter water. So if a great white shark is swimming along the seabed where it's sandy and quite light, it can lighten its dorsal area to blend in with the environment. And if it's swimming around reefs and rocks where it's dark, it can darken the dorsal area in order to blend into the environment. The first dorsal fin, as I say, is very prominent with the great white shark. It's large. The second dorsal fin is tiny on the great white shark. And then we get to what we call the caudal fin, or the tail fin. And with the great white shark, the caudal fin is lunar shaped. It's crescent or lunar shaped. And where most shark species have got, so you got your upper lobe over here. I'm going to turn it a little bit. You got your upper lobe and you got your lower lobe. And in the great white shark or all mackerel sharks, the upper and lower lobe are almost the same in size. Where most other species of shark, the upper lobe is far larger than the lower lobe. And then, you can't see it over here, but in the great white shark, they've also got a precaudal peduncle, which is kind of a little dent over here, but it's not on this model. And then I'm going to turn it like this, and you can see, it's hard to see, but you've got this precaudal keel on a great white shark. And you'll also see it on marlin, you'll see it on tuna. Very fast animals in the water have a precaudal keel. So it flattens off here, where most shark species is kind of round. It's round like this all the way to the tail. But with a great white shark, we've got the precaudal keel. And what that does, it allows the shark to be about 50% more efficient in turning than other species of shark without a precaudal kill. The underbelly of a great white shark is white, and that is probably where they get the name great white shark from. But it's also what's quite different between great white sharks and most other shark species. The border between the dark of the dorsal area and the white of the underbelly is very prominent. It's a very sharp line. Where most other shark species, it's kind of just goes from grey and it fades slowly into white like that. So that's generally what a great white shark is. So if you're walking along the beach one day and you see a shark on the beach lying there, you can start identifying it as a mackerel shark or mako shark or at least a great white shark. They've got nostrils. You've got a nostril over here, and obviously on the other side you've got a nostril. And these nostrils are only used for olfactory purposes. They're not used for breathing at all. The only way a great white shark breathes is actually by taking in water and filtering it through the gills. And they suck out the air from the water. We're going to go into this later on in the series. But over here, you can't see it, but you've got a lateral line on a great white shark, and it's very prominent. If you see a live great white shark in the water, the lateral line is very prominent, and that lateral line is there to detect very, very fine pressure waves in the water. So if there's a fish struggling, that lateral line will be able to pick up the fish struggling in the water. If it swims past a seal and the seal's panicking, that lateral line is so sensitive that it'll actually pick up the heartbeat of the seal. So that is what a great white shark is generally. That's the form of a great white shark. Just to reiterate, or just to summarize, sharp conical snout, bullet-shaped snout, heavy-bodied animals, spindle-shaped body, 5 very large gill slits, prominent, large pectoral fins, large, prominent dorsal fin, dark dorsal area, white underbelly, and this crescent or lunar-shaped caudal fin or tail, and then over here, the precaudal keel. And those are very easy ways to identify a great white shark. So, from here on, we're going to go deep into the series, and I'll start discussing the eyes, the nostrils, the ampulla of Lorenzini, which you'll find over here. I'll discuss how the fins actually work, and they're not stagnant, they're not just stationary. These fins actually bend and turn, and that makes the shark very fast in the water. I'll be explaining more about the tail, the caudal fin, the lateral line, everything. Their sense of smell, their sense of sight, and their teeth. Unfortunately, I can't show you much about the teeth over here, but if I look at one of these pictures, you can't see it from there, but there you can see the mouth quite clearly. And all I can tell you is the teeth are triangular. They're triangular and they're serrated, and the top teeth in the top jaw are wider than in the bottom jaw. So if you're walking along the beach, just to illustrate, and you see a shark like this lying on the beach, and a shark falling off a wall, you'll be able to just figure out what it is. And if you find a shark like this lying on the beach and you don't know what you're looking at, you could very easily mistake the great white shark with a mako shark. But the easiest way to distinguish the two is just looking at the teeth. The mako shark has got multiple rows of very long, kind of crooked blade-like teeth that are extremely sharp, where a great white shark has just got one row of usable teeth in the top jaw, and they're triangular and serrated, like steak knives, and on the bottom jaw it's also got triangular teeth that are slightly narrower and also serrated on the edges, where a mako shark's got no serrations whatsoever. So that's what I want to say about a great white shark so long, and yeah, you can enjoy the rest of the series. It's going to be very, very exciting. Thank you very much.